super small start, outside zone, front clip, run it back. See if this car will handle it.
Camera.
All right, we're back with another episode on YouTube. We've been tossing y'all around from Formula Drift to the patty in the backyard thing. I don't think I'm gonna be as gnarly. Anyways, maybe I'm gonna be as gnarly as him.
We'll see.
We'll figure it out.
You got no pins.
We have nothing here. So, a quick update, right? So, we wanted to update you guys on the GR86. It's kind of been in the background for a few weeks. Adrian, Connor, Brandon, the boys have been working really hard on this thing. Let's get a quick update on it, Adrian.
So, from its first event, we noticed that there's a lot of smoke that gets in the cabin. From our shakedowns to our first round of really going to an event. So we plugged up the cabin essentially, so we had to add a bulkhead. We plugged up the side panels where we saw that smoke was coming in, and we had to in turn redo the whole water system.
Yeah, so basically what Adrian's explaining is, remember when we debuted the car, we were really pressed for time, and this whole project has kind of just been This whole project has been just one stage after the other where we really needed to get out into the public. Things such as, I don't know what this is exactly called, but like these panels, for example, Adrian came through and had to fab up a fresh one to cover up, you know, basically things that were throwing smoke into the cabin. Connor and Adrian were able to seal up all of this stuff. So I'm sure you guys have seen those clips where, you know, we're drifting the backyard and the car is just filled with smoke. But most importantly, that I'm proud of, Adrian, was you were able to move the overflow and reservoir for the radiator higher than the radiator. We had like, you know, our first revision of the car, which is why we did the seal it anyway, right? So we went to the LZ World Tour, we got 4th place. The car was kind of overheating if you look really closely. From there, we knew we needed to do these revisions. We called Connor at Continental Customs. He came through, water pump, undercar, reservoirs above the highest point of the radiator. So this video is all about jumping in this car, burning tires in the backyard, and trying to emulate a drift track setting where I'm gonna try to do a run with a quick pause and another run as if I was battling somebody. So we are moments away from loading this car up to go to the World Tour. It will not look like this. And so stay tuned for the new look. Yeah, let's see how this testing goes.
We're better off this way.
All right, guys, I'm trying a new thing out where I can talk to you. I've got a mic on, see if this works. All right, guys, so here we are. Got water temp up to speed, got oil pressure, got my seat belts, you know, the basics. I'm creating a little track, so I'll have an outside line here. Right, so this will be an outside line. You know, then I'll have a switch back here. Then we'll have an inside. Of an inside. We're gonna tug inside, and then come back around and do it again. So that's kind of the run of show. All right, so to talk this through one more time, the plan is outer zone, front clip, back to burnout box. See if the car can handle it. Okay, so I had a high water temp. So right off the bat, I noticed the water temp was high and it was able to, I guess you'd say, limit the amount of power. I had a high water temperature warning. Do I need to kick? I don't kick any of these on.
No, water pump. Is that? I think that automatically comes on. It's that one.
So I had like a, maybe like a 210 or something, and it was limiting the power.
Yeah.
But it came right back down. I can try again.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, so you guys are noticing, you know, it looks like the water temperature is holding fine, but under drift it seemed to be giving me some issues. This is why we're here. The water temp is spiking, but coming directly down. Something may not be plumbed correctly. The water temperature spiked to 230. Whether it's a sensor or real, I think we should call it.
Let me look at it, and then we can try and test tomorrow. Let's just keep doing this every day until we get it right.
Okay. Just so we're all on the same page, that's why we're doing this. This is strictly for testing. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to see if it worked, and it did not work. So this is part one of the real life of getting ready for the world tour. Stick around for part two. Boom. All right, carrying on. So this is version 2 or V2 of testing, headed to the world tour in the backyard. It's almost 5 o'clock. Once everybody leaves, this becomes our space. So earlier, basically we had issues in testing. So we went on to what we thought was gonna work, where we had adjusted the radiator, we adjusted the expansion tank and the catch can. The water pump has now moved, and we reconfigured quite a bit of things, and we went testing. Obviously you guys just seen that footage, and we failed. So we noticed that the car would idle properly, and as soon as I would take 2 laps around this thing, it would spike to the 230s, give us the warnings, cut power down. So here we are a few days later, and we're back. So what we did was we were able to reach out to Dylan Hughes, which is a really good friend of mine, and Dylan basically FaceTimed me and Adrian while we were under our car, and we think that we might have found the single issue, the only thing in the equation that it could be technically, was our steam port. So hear me out. In the back of the JZ, we had our steam port, and this steam port was essentially only running to the inlet of the turbo, coming through the turbo, sending it to the return hot side of the radiator. So what I'm trying to explain, and I was thinking through this in my own head, it was like, oh, we were putting steam into the hot side of the rad, thus we have to be putting air into the system, because if steam is not fully just water, obviously it's steam, and that's going to the exit side of the radiator. Of course it's putting air into the radiator. So what we did, what you just seen, was we ended up running a T, and then we ran the steam port all the way back to our expansion tank. And our expansion tank, in theory, should allow the steam to build pressure, thus exiting the expansion tank and never really getting that air into our system. So let's hope that that is the case, and we are on for session number 2. So let me get my helmet, let me get my gloves, let me grab Adrian and Brandon, and we're about to go drift the smallest track ever. We now have 2 cameras. They didn't even know, but we got 2 cameras now. So Tito gets filmed way more, and he can act like he's gonna film me and use this footage when he knows he's not. He's the one behind the keyboard, so he can probably cut all this out anyway. But, all right guys, so quick recap. Engine's happy, we got the backyard track. We keep Adrian over here. We got Caden for moral support over here. We blocked the bay. We got the start line, the smallest drift track in the world. All right guys, let's do this. Again, this is practice session number 2 with the updates to the car, nice and hot. Gotta make sure I got my AC going. Y'all know the drill. Let's pace around a little bit and just see how things are looking for everyone. Yeah, so we got outside line here. Don't go too wide there. Rear clip here. Coming around. I deleted this front clip because I needed it for that other rear. But no worries. Coming around, I gotta watch the gate. Gotta go a little wider on that gate. This car has so much power. All right, like we mentioned, super small start, outside zone, front clip, run it back. See if this car will handle it. All right, so we can see the car. The car is at 199 and dropping. Can you guys see that? These are really good results, dude. Really good results. 194, and again, this is the smallest drift track, so definitely think looking good, dude. We're getting good results. And the oil temps are staying cool. Look at that, dude, 185. It came up to 210, right back down.
That's good.
I'm gonna do some cool down laps. How's the tires?
I'd queue up another set.
Look at that, boys. 176. This shit's working. All right, let's run it back. Tires are gone. So again, what we're looking at here is we really want the water temps to drop, right? Like obviously you want to drive it hard. We want consecutive laps and we want to watch the water temps drop. The oil temps, this is the dried sump setup. So I think revving and giving the engine some RPM will actually cool the oil down more. So with that being said, yeah, 226 is on oil temps. I need to check, I don't know a ton. Obviously there's a safety set in here that aren't giving us any warning. So I'm assuming that oil temp is pretty good, but super comfortable with the water temp. I mean, those are pretty aggressive limiters and everything is balanced. So I love it. Thank you, Tito. I think we're gonna wrap this video out here. It's 5 o'clock. We did have a few cops kind of pass by our area, and like I said, thanks to the ownership, they do let us do this. But at the same time, with the meet that we just had, which was 100 plus cars back here. And now we're drifting the Monday after that. I figured we'd just chill out a little bit. So overall, I would say this session went way better than the first session. And with that being said, you guys are gonna see this thing come back to life, and stick around for the next video where we go to the world tour and we also debut the brand new livery on this that Adrian has been working hard on. So I'm gonna clean up this backyard and go home. I'll see y'all in the next episode. You guys got anything to say?
It works.
Hell no.
Subscribe.
Get the fuck out of here.
Catch us on the next one.
He said, it works, fuck you, subscribe, and I'm happy.
If I could give